Welcome, welcome. We are your hostess with the mostest. I'm your girl, Carmen.
And I'm your girl, Lina.
Mhm. So, we got some things to get into, some hot topics, of course. But first things first, we're gonna kind of give you an update as to what we've been up to. Well, more so, Angie's life was a little more interesting than mine because I mean, me, I'm back to work doing the same old, same. Oh, but Angie, Angie always got something new. So, what you got up your sleeves, girl? I think it's time. I think it's time. What you think?
I think it's time for me to let it be known. So I think I
She's
found him,
married.
y'all. I think I
I'm
found
just
him,
kidding.
y'all. Hey, remember that meme that I post of like Kiki Palmer where she's like, I love him, y'all. And then the girl's like, what's his name? What's his name?
Uh-huh. Listen, the thing about Angie is this is why I love that we are so involved in her life is because you can expect the unexpected. Some days gonna be good, some days gonna be bad, and it's always good when your homegirl got some good news. So, I mean, it sounds like we're super hyping it. I just want to follow up, where
Right.
you've been, what you've been up to, because last we talked, basically you were a free agent.
Right.
No pun
Right.
intended, but now.
So sounds like first off, remember last episode we were talking about going into the DMs because remember
Exposed them.
Killa's girl, yeah, went into his DMs and that's how they met or they started
Mhm.
talking. So I was like, you know what? It's been a minute since I've been up in there. Let me see what's cracking, right? So, I first go in there and I see some of those messages like, hey, beautiful, or, whatever corny
Mm-mm.
ass messages guys send. So I see this one specific message that caught my eye, and I was like, let me see who this is. So I respond, and yeah, he seems like a really great guy. And, so far, so
Conversation's
good.
going good. And
Really good. So yeah. What are
I
you gonna
think
say?
it's funny because I feel like we sound repetitive. I get it. But the reason why this is interesting is because we always talk about when in the dating world, and I say we because when my girl's dating, I'm dating with
Exactly.
her. We dating together. So when men, apply themselves when it comes verbally fuck every single one of them have been putting in game.
Right. Right.
However, no one's been able to pull through like the action behind it. And
Mhm.
so far, like with this one, it's a different vibe. Like I get that from the get,
Right.
from the way he speaks to uh his profession to everything just lines up. And to me, it's
Right.
exciting to see that, man, you finally are getting a break. Because and it's sad because it's like it's not like you're desperate or anything. It's just that when it comes to finding love, like we're literally all on this ghetto earth trying to find love, you know what I'm
in
saying?
in the hopeless
In the
places. So
hopeless places. Okay. And we all come across a lot of idiots, and we all come across, the good ones that we thought we let go and stuff like that. And
right.
so with this
Yep.
is like it's dope. It seems like things are going good. I know you don't want to say too much about it because it's just getting started, but
Right.
good news is somebody's definitely got her attention, and cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm super excited to, just share as much as I can because, there are some things you got to keep private and protect.
Right.
But, I feel like everybody always hears me complain or talk about getting
Right.
played or whatever it is. So I just wanted to like give the ladies some hope. Like there are some great, and guys too, there are people out there who want what you want and you don't have
Yeah.
to settle for less. And, I just hope he understands like the value that I bring too, because that's important. Like we always think like the guy, should choose us, but really I think it's like the woman should choose as well because we think, okay, this guy is approaching me and what does he bring to the table as well? Because I bring
Yeah.
stuff to the table. So like what else is he bringing? So it's just I'm
Yeah.
just excited to like really get to know somebody who I admire, like somebody that actually look at and I'm like, wow, he's really dope. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
different feeling for sure.
And then also, I feel like with me, I've always said this about you though. Like even when I've tried to introduce or trying to get you on a blind date, I always feel like I know what my girls got to offer. You know what I'm saying? Like like as women with our friends, we know what our women and by women, I mean like our circle, we know what they're worth, you know, and we have some that are good, we have some that are bad, we have some that are questionable. But with you, like to me, I feel like every man that has fucked it up, I'm like, y'all are stupid. Like you really, and I don't say this just because like, oh, we work together, like
Right,
we're
right.
close, like legit. And even my man has said that, you know, like about you. So to me, I'm just like, it's so dumb because you really, when people are out there in the world trying to discover like the right one or find the right one, it's
Right.
like you really don't know what you have. And these men that have fucked up over and over again, the exes to the ones that you try to take serious, like you really just fumbled that bag and have no idea like what a genuine person that you're missing out on. So to me, I'm excited for this person who will remain anonymous, because I'm like, you really truly have no idea like how dope of a person you just came across. Like this
Aw.
girl's got her shit together, knows what she wants, is a very very loving person, and you could just tell based off how her daughter is. I always say that like about you, like you could always tell just based off how your kids are, and you really can, because you, that shows how much work you put in, especially knowing that you did that by yourself, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
that's
get that out
definitely
the
been
way.
yeah, that's been a subject between us. But thank you, girl. You know, I love
Yeah.
you, and I always think the same of you. Like, we always talk about, what we want out of life, and I feel
Right.
like little by little we're seeing it all unfold. And I'm just excited for both of us. Like,
Whoop, whoop.
we're really about to be out here taking over the world. Okay.
We're trying, man. Listen, but we can't just try without putting in the work. And so we are here, you know, trying to make shit work. We're actually, as we speak, also trying to grow our brand in different ways. And hopefully that'll all unfold in the future.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the update on Angie. We just had to throw that in there real quick. And speaking of relationships, I don't know if you saw this, but J Lo just basically made it official with Ben. I mean, it wasn't like it was a secret. At first it
Right.
was. And then eventually when she was like, man, paparazzis are just going to see what they're going to see. And then we
Exactly.
saw it happen. She
Right.
finally posted Ben. Did you see the photo?
No, I didn't.
Well,
I
I knew you
didn't.
probably didn't. So I was like, I'm going to show you. So
Please
this
share.
is the photo.
Oh, wow. Okay, okay.
It's
I'm not mad at
official.
that.
I
I am not
believe,
mad at that.
yeah, I believe she's 52 years old. So she posted photos. And if you slide all the way, girl, you're going to see this one. And basically, she's like, there, get off my nuts, you know?
Ah, I love it. That's
So,
that's
yeah,
a way to like really confirm things. Like,
yeah.
yes.
And it's just crazy too, because, you know, to people, it's like, damn, she's moving on quick. And it's like, no, she just said she's 52. All right. She ain't got time. She ain't
Ain't
got
got
time to sit
time.
around and wait. And
Right.
also, she's circling back to someone she'd been to. We already had this whole conversation, so we ain't even going to dive into that. But she's, you know what I'm saying? She's going back with someone and is giving it a shot. And to me, I love that, because I'm like, how many
Mhm.
times have we been in situations where you're like, I don't know if like that person I let go was a missed opportunity for me. I don't know
Right.
if he was the one or she was the one.
Right.
And to see it like happen to a celebrity and it's like, oh shit, like that
Right.
really does happen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You brought up a good point though, because I feel like that's what me and my what do we call him? What should we call him? Should we give him
Um,
a nickname?
well, he's definitely Bay. He's your Bay.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So me and Bay, we're talking about time wise, like
Yeah.
timeline. People think that love is supposed to be this timeline, but it's like no, like when you know it's real, and time shouldn't be a factor really in it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, he might be onto something.
No, it's true. I feel like most people put the pressure on themselves. And even when it comes to relationships, I mean, we were talking about this recently, how we put so much pressure into titles and, or we put pressure on ourselves, not realizing it when we put titles in certain things, or we have to do things because that's what it said. But who's it and who came up with these rules? And like,
Right.
you know, the same rules don't apply for everyone. A lot of
Mhm.
the times, like we put more pressure on ourselves. That's really unnecessary, because everyone has their own journey. Everyone works on their own in their own ways. No one can tell you that this
Mhm.
ain't your bae because they're not in your shoes. Like
Right.
things like that. And even
Right.
in like situations where people have been together for so long where they're like, oh, why aren't they married? Like,
Mhm.
well, why can't they be together and not be married? Like, who's to say
Mhm.
that they have to get married?
Yep.
I'm not talking about myself, but damn it, that damn shoe fits, okay?
Well,
But
my guy, he had something to say. Bay was
yes.
like, They
Yes.
was like, wait, they've been together how long?
I know. It's
And
crazy.
what? Like he was legit concerned about it, and he was like, we gonna have to talk.
Well, I need to hear his opinion because the thing is too with me is like I don't take it too serious. I know some people get offended.
Right,
And
right.
at some point too, yeah, I mean to a certain extent, I'm like, stop asking. Like, but I know
Mhm.
certain people have just good intentions. And when it comes to having that conversation, I don't feel like I'm running from it because
Right,
what do I got to prove to
right.
anyone? You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
So
yep.
I'm open. I want to hear what he's got to say because it is interesting to hear what a man's got to say about someone being in a relationship with someone for so long. Most
Right,
men will be like, "What's wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that." You
right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
And
Yeah,
that's mostly because they are handling their situations the wrong way or they're
right,
handling their
right,
situations in a shady way, you know? So
right.
it's interesting to hear like what a man's got to say, someone that's got a good head on their shoulders and sees that there could be a potential problem there, you know?
Mhm, mhm, absolutely.
But speaking of problems, okay, so we got to dive into this Reddit conversation that we thought was so good. So I'm just gonna read it out loud. This is I mean, y'all know how the Reddit goes. You put something out into the universe and see how people feel about it. And I was like, whoa, I just wish, I mean, he pretty much laid out the foundation of the situation, but I just feel like, man, I would love to know where it went from here. So it goes
Mhm,
like this. Am I the asshole for giving my ex wife a large amount of money despite the anger of my current girlfriend? I recently won a fuck you amount of money. I won't say how much, but it's in the millions. It's enough to change the life of myself and my family. My ex wife is the mother of my two kids. She is an amazing woman and good to the bone. We divorced 6 years ago because I had an affair with my current partner. I was in
mm,
a low place in my life and I fucked up.
mm.
She was and is and was and is an incredible pain, but like a fucking saint, she allowed me to still see our kids who mean the world to me and allowed our divorce to be as pain-free as possible. Don't we mostly do
Hmm.
this? I'm just
Hmm.
saying.
Okay.
Right? She was actually the first person I phoned after my mom and pops after I found out I won the lottery. She was pleased for me and joked that I could take the kids on a world round trip and that was that, nothing else. As soon as I won, I knew I wanted to give her a significant amount of money, and I feel like this is some small tiny way to show her that I am not a complete fuck up. She
Mhm,
deserves to know that I care despite my mistakes. She also works a shitty job in a public library, which pays her peanuts. She would actually be able to pursue her hobbies this way and give our kids a better life between us. I
I'll take
haven't
it.
discussed this. I have right. I haven't discussed this with my ex. I haven't discussed this with my ex-wife yet, but long story short, when I told my girlfriend, she was livid, screaming that I'm disrespecting her, accusing me of still being in love with my ex. My
Mm.
girlfriend is threatening to break up with me. And to be honest, I feel incredibly relieved over the threats. I don't
Sheesh.
plan on changing my plans, but am I the asshole?
Well, damn, that's a
Right.
loaded ass
Woo!
Reddit comment.
Girl, but the way he like broke it down, I was like, ooh, oh, oh. You know what I'm
Right?
saying? What you think about this? Because I
Oh
got
my
my opinion.
God, where do I start? Okay, so I jokingly said right now, I'll take it. But see, here's the thing. In my situation, I feel like it would be disrespectful to, like if I'm married or I have a partner, like I feel like if I took that money from my ex, it would be disrespectful to my current. So,
Mhm.
I feel like if she's single, and I'm thinking of the like ex-wife, right? The ex-wife, I'm sure gladly took it. I would have, like I said, if I was single and I didn't have a situation, you owe me a little bit. You owe me, you know what? As a matter of fact, you owe me some taxes too. So, I just think that he did the right thing when it comes to that. But obviously, he should have probably talked to his current partner, especially because they already have history. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's already some bad
There's a
history
lot of
there.
ties there.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of money in this.
Yes. Okay, look, I think, and is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I don't know. Yeah, it was a lot to dissect. So we'll go piece
Okay.
by piece.
Mm. Well, let's start with the fact that he started this conversation thinking about the kids, right?
Right. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then it led to him recognizing how much he fucked up
Right.
and that same guilt is
Mhm.
what's, and also knowing that what she's valued, like knowing her value,
Mhm.
it made him recognize what he initially made to do with this money, which is look out for her and look out for the kids.
Mhm.
The reason why I feel like he's not an asshole, like there's like this much asshole in him in this story,
Right.
and it's not, to me it's not even the bigger picture,
Mhm.
cuz like you said, like it can be a form of disrespect, right? But I put
Mhm.
myself in that situation. Like I've never been married. I've never had a fucking ex offer me that type of money. But
Right.
if I was in that situation,
Mhm.
obviously I have kids with different dads. That is not the man that I'm with now. If
Mhm.
he, like, if an ex of mine were to offer me that, I would go and tell him, obviously, like, hey, this is what he wants to do. And I think just based off how I know my man, I feel like he would be like, yeah,
Hell
take that
yeah.
because it's for the kids, you know? And the
He
first thing
definitely
he,
would.
yeah, the first thing he would say is like he owes you that.
Yep.
Two, we're putting that in, like I already know the first thing he's gonna think is to think about my kids. Like we're putting that in their college fund, you know?
Right.
Like
Mhm.
so I already know like that would be established. But like you said, it can seem like a form of disrespect. Like I'll give you an example. When I was moving on from my son's dad,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then I started talking to my current man now. Um, he had stopped, like he was trying so hard to win me back that he
Mhm.
would just do little things. Like during that time, Etta James, which I love Etta James, she had passed away. So
Mhm.
he knew how much I liked Etta James. So what he did, because he was trying so hard, my ex was trying so hard to
Mhm.
get me back, he went and made a CD for me with nothing but Etta James songs. And
What?
yeah, so he made
Wow.
this, and then he calls me and tells me, "Hey, are you home?" I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Oh, okay, because I wanted to drop something off for you." And I was
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, now is not a good time," because I was then with my man that was visiting me at the time because we were still living long distance, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember if I told you this,
I
but
don't think so,
basically,
no.
yeah, girl. So he was like, "Well, I just want to give you this." I was like, "Well, not it's not a good time." And he's like,
Right.
"Well, why?" I was like, "You just can't. You can't." Like I didn't want to tell him because I already
Right.
knew that was gonna send him off the wall. He's, mind
Right.
you, this just he was a bad person. So
Mhm.
I was like, "No," and I'm not even trying to tempt it, and I'm nowhere near trying to get them close together.
Right.
Also, like the guy, which was is my man now, but at the time, it
Right.
wasn't something that I knew I was gonna be serious forever. So I just didn't want to connected to, you know?
Right, for
I mean, who
sure.
does? Nobody wants to connect, the ex and the recent together.
Hell
So
no.
it was just all so fresh. So I
Right.
was like, no, 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 no. So like, anyway, like he tried so hard. And then when I
Mhm.
told my man at the time what was happening, he was like, what's going on? I was like, okay, so here's what's happening. He wants to give me this CD that he made for me. He's like, tell him no, thank you, but you're good. And I was
Right.
like, yeah, that's what I told him. He's like, yeah, no, like why would he feel, he's like, that's disrespecting me. Like
Right.
I can't look out for you because your favorite artist passed away. And I
Right.
was like, yeah, I totally see eye to eye. We're on the same page as that. Like I know what you mean. This is why I'm telling him no, but he's
Right.
crazy and I don't
Mhm.
want him to just show up. And I also don't want no conflict with you guys. He was
Right.
like, yeah, he's stupid. Like he's really trying to pull some shit. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So yeah, at at that moment, obviously we knew it was because he was trying to get me back. In this
Right.
guy's case, he knew like that he's been a fuck up. He wasn't trying to get his girl back, but
Right.
what put the bow tie on that maybe there was some sort of feeling still involved was him
Mhm.
saying, well, she's starting to leave me, but at this point, I don't even fucking care. I was like,
Right.
whoa. So clearly he knows like what he lost. And I think
Oh,
at
yeah.
some point, because he said that they divorced 6 years prior, I feel like
Mhm.
at some point he did want to go back, but it was too
Right.
late. I think his ex was like, "Man, fuck you. Like you
Mhm.
really did me dirty."
Yep.
And you're living with her, like you guys moved on. So even more of a reason to be like, "This is done. Like we're
Yep.
good."
Yep.
Yeah. So to
Mhm.
me, I'm like, I kind of get where the girlfriend's coming from, but I just feel like to me, as it's if I'm the girlfriend,
Right.
I'm the first thing I should think about is my kids too, or my
Yeah.
partner's kids, right? So
Mhm.
in a way, I feel like that girl is being immature. I'm like, I get it. It's you have reason to believe that your man is currently still having feelings for your ex because of how
Right.
you fucking took him, you know?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, you're telling me that I can't give my kids money. Like we
Right.
got a problem there, you know?
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
don't know. It's a tough situation, but I definitely don't think he's an asshole for offering that money, because at the end of the day, even if like the ex-wife and him never got back together, like you
Mhm.
never thought like that's making my kids, giving my kids a better life. Like how does
Right.
that not click? And if I'm the man, I'm thinking like, well, fuck you for not thinking of my kids. Like you're not
Right.
thinking of my kids at all in this situation. You're just being selfish, and you're upset because you know that my ex is a good person and we
Right.
clearly fucked up and we clearly moved on, but
Mhm.
you still think I have feelings for him. Like notice how he didn't say I don't have feelings for her. He never
Right.
said he didn't. He
Right.
just said he's doing it for the kids. Regardless of what he's doing it for, I feel like he's doing it for the kids, period. Like that, nothing
Right.
else matters. That
Yeah.
money is going to be valuable for the kids, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but I'll put it this way: if that was me, if I won then the millions, my ex for sure ain't ever gonna hear from me ever again.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
No, you don't get shit for
He gonna
no
call me like,
nothing.
"Where's Angie? I know she won the lotto. I don't know you. Don't fucking call my phone again, because we don't know each other." Okay.
Sorry to the man. I don't know that
I don't
man.
know that, man. No, it's true. It's true, because like if we think of like if this should happen to us, but like we're the ones that take care of our kids. Like we're the ones that, so if anything, that money is all to y'all. So you got to think of what the fuck you want to do with you and your baby to do, not
Yes.
like worry about your ex. Like your ex
Right.
didn't help you when you were struggling. Your ex didn't look out for you when he was out there fucking other bitches. Like, nah. It
Let
is,
him know, girl. Let him
I'm
know.
just saying, like it's a trip, because but I do feel like most men
Mhm.
probably wouldn't think the way he is. Like he's, granted he's thinking about his kids, yeah, to give his kids a better life, but notice how he keeps going back to the fact that he realized he fucked up. He
Mhm.
realized that his ex was a very valuable person,
Mhm.
someone that's a good hearted person. And I think he
Right.
realized that when they were going through a divorce and she didn't give him hell about it. I think that's when he was like, fuck, all this shit I put her through. She could have technically taken me down in many
Mhm.
ways and instead decided to let it be.
Yes.
And I think he realized because of those actions, he
Mhm.
wanted to, pay it forward or give her back that same support that he was given when he fucked up and didn't deserve
Right.
shit. Now,
Right.
also when he says like, "Oh, she still allowed me to see my kids." To
Mhm.
me, I'm like, that is something you're supposed to do. When a woman
Right.
or a man takes the kids away from you, and if no one is being harmed, to me,
Mhm.
that's obviously a pawn. Like you're using your kids as pawns. You know what I'm
Ab-
saying? So,
Absolutely.
and you and
Mhm.
I, maybe we're biased, Angie, because I've noticed not many people like feel the same way. I've noticed in the comments, I've noticed people reach out to us
Mhm.
about how we're so lenient when it comes to, allowing our kids to have a relationship with their fathers
Right.
because of what we've been through, and also because of how we're so open about what we've been through.
Mhm.
But so yeah, maybe we're a little biased because we are the type that is like, one thing that's not going to happen is my kid's not going to grow up to think that I didn't allow their fathers
Mhm.
to be there. You know what I'm
That
saying?
part. Yes. Could
Yeah, yeah,
never. He could
yeah.
never. I don't care if anybody says the worst about me, but one
Hmm.
thing they cannot say is that I didn't allow that relationship. So, yeah.
Yes. And the thing is too, we see this a lot where they say, and I've seen this in TV shows, I've seen this in reality shows, I've seen this in my family, where they
Mhm.
say, like, you never allowed me to have a relationship with my father. And it was like, oh, well, I was trying to protect you. And it's like, well, why didn't you just allow me to make that decision?
Right.
And a lot of kids suffer from that, because they're like, well, you should have allowed me. And to a certain
Right.
extent, there are some situations where obviously you do have to protect your kids against even their
Yes.
own father. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Because that could
Mhm.
be toxic. So
Mhm.
in our case, obviously, that's not something that we worry about. And I think that's why we're more open to it. Like
Mhm.
we know that they're going to fuck it up on their own. So
Pretty much.
yeah. So what we
Yeah.
do, what we have done as mothers is allow that to like allow them to see for themselves. So
Right.
when my kids grow up, they can decide if they want to move forward to having continue having a relationship with their father if they
Right.
connected,
Mhm.
or if they grow up and realize they really didn't never had a connection, that was on the father, because Angie
Exactly.
and I did our part to make sure that they got to see them whenever they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? It was never us
Exactly.
saying fuck your dad, like your daddy owe me
Mhm.
money.
Yep.
Your
That's
daddy
why.
didn't do this,
Right. And we could have
and
because
we could have,
we have
girl.
financially taken care of our kids on our own. And, it's not until recent that we both started actually getting some kind of child
Yeah.
support. And, in my case, my daughter, she's 16 now, and she's like, I don't want a relationship with him. And I've expressed this to him. I've let him know he needs to talk to her more and be more
Mhm.
involved. And, I can only do so much. And I will
Right.
say, when it comes to being an ex, I am the best ex you will ever
I
have, because
always say that too about
I will leave you
myself.
the
I'm
hell
like,
alone. I'm gonna leave you the hell alone. Just take care of your responsibilities and
man, girl,
do what
I
you
am the
want.
type that is like, I do not have a problem meeting your recent, as long as if your current girl,
Hmm.
boo, sunshine, whatever the fuck, is gonna be around my child, I would like to meet her, you know?
Right.
And
Hmm.
again, that has nothing to do with me worrying about you. It's
Right.
making sure my kid is around the right person, you know?
Exactly. Listen, we can all be a happy family, sis.
Right.
We can all share holidays together. I'm cool
Man.
with all that. Just welcome to the family, girl. Welcome to the family.
And
That's
that's why,
how that's how much I don't care
yeah.
about the situation. And I'm for blended families. I think that,
Yeah.
especially in my situation, it's going to be that where we're both bringing children into the picture. So it's like,
Hmm.
how do we make sure that, everything is kosher for the kids?
Yeah.
And that's where, we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, what do y'all think, homies? Let us know, because we think with
Mhm.
this situation, obviously there is some reason to feel a certain way if you're the girlfriend. So
Mhm.
yes, and it depends on every situation, but to me it sounds like she is more so insecure about her relationship because of how she took him. Now,
Yep.
we don't know the full, like I would love to know the contents of that story. Like
I
how
know.
did y'all, happen? And did she know that he was a married man? And when she found out, did she still want to? Obviously, she did go
I'm
through with
sure she
it. So,
did. Yeah.
did she make the life a living hell for the ex-wife, even though the ex-wife was the one that had to
Right.
suffer in this?
Right.
So to me, it just sounds like the girlfriend seems to be immature, because if the kids weren't the first thing you thought about, that seems a little like immature to me, or bitter at least. Like you
Right.
got some shit, personal shit you got to worry about. And if I'm the
Yeah.
partner, also, like, okay, if you are happen to be in a situation where you are a single parent, right?
Mhm.
If and this is for both men and women, pay attention to how they react when it comes to your kids, when it comes to you putting your kids first. If they got an issue with the fact that you got to do certain things with your children, and they're asking if it has something to do with the ex, that's a problem. Like, we
Mhm.
get it, trust me. Angie and I think nobody understands better than us how dating someone who has kids can be a struggle because of the insecurities that come with that. You just never know. And that's why,
Yep.
like, I don't judge people who don't want to date people who have kids. Like, I
Right.
even said that for myself when I was dating.
Mhm.
And I told you about the guy that I dated that didn't feel comfortable with continuing to date me because he didn't know or want to be a stepdaddy. Not that I was pressuring him to be that, but at
Right.
the time he wasn't ready. And I fully respected that. I never judged him for that. I was like, all right, you too pussy to fucking. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't say all that. I thought about it. I thought about it. No, but I was
Well,
like,
do you remember? Do you remember when I called your baby daddy a bitch?
and we were cracking up, and I was like, fast forward, you were right, because guess
I
what?
was right.
You was right. So I just feel like, to a certain extent, like, that's one thing you do have to worry about when dating. It sucks for both, on both ends. If you're dating someone who has kids and you don't have kids, or if you both have kids, like, it's so crucial to know where you stand and what you have. That's why I say, like, when my girls, like, I know I'm surrounded by people who are good people. And the people that I haven't been good, I've cut them out of my life for that reason. Like, there's no need to have someone around who I know is not a good person. Like, that negative energy can really drag you on. So that's another thing. Most people don't realize you put stress on yourself carrying people around who you consider your friends, but really they're not. Like, are they really your friends? Or are they just someone you've known for a long time? Because
Mhm.
there's a difference. Just
Hell
because you've
yeah.
known them for so long does not mean that they still have to be in your life, or that you still have to force yourself to be friends. Like, we have a friend who doesn't always want to have certain situations, certain things, certain events
Mhm.
around all her people. And
Right.
I'm like,
Mhm.
it's understandable because you are a very friendly person, but
Right.
it's time for you to cut, you know what I'm saying? Cut ties with
Mhm.
those people that,
Wanna
are
cut that
dragging you
bitch off.
down. Yes. Because the thing is, we're just putting more shit on ourselves. And to me, I just feel like that's a very hot topic. Like, just as much as a relationship can stress you out, your friends can stress you out. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what, Angie? I realized to was it like 3 days ago,
Huh?
I saw a video about a girl talking about ADHD, right?
Oh.
And did I
Mm-hmm.
send it to you?
No, I
Oh, I
don't think
should have,
so.
because she was talking about signs that we have ADHD and don't realize it. And one of
Right.
those, and I wanted to send it to you because I want you to know, like, when you don't hear from me, it's not because I don't care about you.
I was gonna say because I have it.
Yeah, no, you too. But see, that's why I never take it personal. But
Right.
basically, she said signs that you have ADHD
Mhm.
are, one of those signs could be like that. For instance, one of them, she said, when you don't like the light, like bright light being on you. So like if you're in a room, which this is me, and I'm like, oh, this is too good to be too familiar to be true, because I'm like, I don't like the lights. So even like when I'm working, so right now I have my ring light on, right?
Right. Right.
But even when I'm not, like when I'm not recording something and I'm just
Right.
working, I don't like the full light on my head. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there's something to that. The other one is
Mm-hmm.
when you seem like a shitty friend but you're not. So
Mm-hmm.
in those terms, she's talking about um she said out of sight, out of mind. So people who have ADHD, she
Mm-hmm.
said, forget that like they don't forget, they just don't constantly reach out to certain friends, right?
Right. Right.
So
Okay.
out of sight, out of mind. If you aren't reaching out to them, and then you don't have you have a conversation, then you're like, man, this bitch only hits me up when I hit her up, or when
Uh,
she sees me online, or you know what I'm saying? And he's
right.
like,
Right.
don't get offended, because that is a sign that you deal with this. And I'm like, oh shit. So there are certain things that we go through in life, but you and I have established that, even with all my close friends, they
Okay.
know I don't not give a fuck about you, and I
Right.
am not a shitty friend. It's just that life happens, and that's
Right.
what we always like try to tell. And you shouldn't have to explain this shit, by the way, to like real friends that understand, because if they are living too, they should
Mhm.
know that it's not always going to be about you, you know?
Right. And I think a lot of people take it personal, like, oh, I see her posting, or oh, I see her, doing this and that, or she's ignoring my text, so I'm going to keep texting. And I do feel bad because, like, as of recent, I finally launched my website.
Whoop
And on that
whoop.
day, so
Yeah.
on that day, I was super busy and my head was all over the place. And, of course, like being surrounded, like you said, by good people were texting me, congratulating me or messaging me. And I was trying my best to like repost stuff and respond. But after a while, it just kind of was like, all right, I'll get back to them. I'll get back to them because I was doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I texted back maybe like, I don't know, a day or two late. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I totally
Yeah.
didn't mean to ignore you. I've just been so busy with posting all this stuff. And, this is something that if you know me, it's been in the works. It's something that it's displaying my work and something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
So I had to really focus in on this. And for the last few months, I feel like I've been totally like MIA. But of course, me and you talk every day because we have business to handle.
Yep.
And to be real with you, like we just have that type of friendship where we talk every day. And if we don't, we understand why because we're both busy. We have stuff going on. And it's
Yeah.
more like I'm gonna let her, handle her business. Now, if it's like 2 days, then I'm like, hey girl, what's going on?
Right, right. And that's the thing, you kind of feel it out. So,
Mhm,
and we say all this to say, if you have friends in your circle that you feel you have to overly explain to, or you feel that just don't understand you, or you feel like she's acting a little funky, like offended or something like that, there's a
mhm,
problem there, because your true
mhm,
friends, they will not make you feel some type of way. And if there is an issue, they will just
mhm.
question you about it. They'll just ask
Right.
you about it, how I will ask Angie, or how, vice versa, she'll ask me. The other day you were feeling like shit. You told yourself like, I feel bitchy. And you told me, hey, just heads up, I feel bitchy. And I'm like, and I couldn't agree with you more. I'm just kidding. Not agree, because I did notice you had this like funk attitude, but I didn't feel it
Mhm.
towards me. I just felt
Right.
like something ain't right. And when you told
Right.
me, girl, I've just been like on this like tip of not feeling well, like just being
Mhm,
upset. I can't understand it. And I'm
mhm.
like, say no more. Like, I totally fucking feel that I've been
Right.
there. Like, I've had those moments. And it probably had to do with the fact that your period started after
It did. Two days later.
2 days later.
So then I tell
Yes.
Bay, I'm like, hey Bay, so by the way, I know this is like your first time around but this is what it's like for me to be on PMS. And he's like, okay,
No,
like
yeah.
nothing. But I know I was super emotional. And then when it came, I was like, that's why the little demons were coming out of you.
Same. And sometimes it's good to, but sometimes I'd be looking at in the mirror, I'm just like, wow, you were a bitch today. And then other times, other times, girl, like I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, when am I gonna get a break? Like when,
Aw.
like, and then it comes, my fucking period comes around. I'm just like, it was you the whole
It was
time.
you.
But
It was
like, this is how the video goes, and you tell me if you can relate to this because I for sure can.
So I don't know the girl that did this, but it gave me an idea to kind of do the same thing in my own way, sharing quirks that people have that are actually related to ADHD. So maybe you have some of these, maybe you don't. The first one that I didn't even know was related to this, it is listening to the same song on repeat until you're literally disgusted with it. Like days and days and days on end. My husband hates when I do this. The other one is light sensitivity, not liking bright lights to shine down on your eyes, liking a soft yellow light in a lampshade best. Another one is seeming like a bad friend because we literally have something called, oh crap, what was it called? Object permanence? Is that it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Basically out of sight, out of mind, and it makes us look like douchebags, but we do it with people too, and we don't mean anything by it. We really do love our friends, but it ain't nothing if we don't call you for 4 weeks.
So it made me think like, oh shit, like how accurate is that? And then I Googled it. I was like, oh shit, it is like true. Because
right.
you see a
Yeah.
lot of stuff on social media and then you're like, "Oh, man,
Mm-hmm.
the internet be lying,
Right.
TikTok be lying, Instagram be lying." But then when you Google that shit and you're like, oh
Mhm.
wow. So that just kind of gives you an example of certain things that we go through and don't
Right.
realize that there's actually a significant attachment to that, with in
Right.
this case it happens to be ADHD, and it
Mhm.
could be severe, it could be not, and some people should choose to take medication, some people don't.
Right.
But I realized all those things she listed were were us, like
Yeah,
both of
yeah.
us.
Well, right before, so we were having some technical difficulties, guys, when we were trying to like start recording. So basically, my MacBook was on mute, and we didn't realize that until like I don't know, like 20 minutes later. And then there was
This
something else
girl.
going on, and it was me. Every time it was me, and I'm just
Hmm.
cracking up because I'm kind of my mind's all over the place. So I'm trying to figure out what could it be, what could it be, could it be my mic, could it be her mic, could it be the speakers, and the
Now
whole time
this bitch blamed me the whole time. Was like, nah, you better
it's
check
you.
your shit.
It's
You better check
you.
your shit. And both times it was her, but I let it slide. I let it slide this time because I know she PMSing. We both are. We in sync, literally,
Literally, we started the
literally.
same day, and that's funny because we were both emotional as hell.
Yeah, man.
And I was like telling you the other day, like, oh, I'm feeling like this, and then sure enough, 2 days later, I was like, bitch, there you are.
There you are. I knew it wasn't just me because I ain't this crazy. But moral of the episode is make sure you pay attention to your surroundings and who you're with. I feel like that Reddit conversation, that the Am I an asshole, was so good. So we would love to hear what y'all got to say about that. So if you can drop it in a comment, also send us a message. And real quick, congrats going out once again to our girl Angie for her website that she been working hard. She ain't get no sleep. She ain't get no dick. I feel her. I feel her pain. So, Bay, if you're listening, my girl needs some pipe. 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 I need the T-Pain edit, man. Yeah. So congratulations, Angie. It's a really dope site, by the way. You could tell
Thank
you put
you.
your hard work and hard
Yeah.
brain into that because literally every night we've talked when we're loaded and you've been working. So it's dope. We're gonna put everything so you guys can see it down
Thank you.
below, but let them know how they can find you, how they can find your brand, what you just launched as well, because you also have your own project that you've been working on outside of us. So
Mhm.
let them know.
Yeah, so I finally launched my sheislina.com website, and basically it's about inspiring others and sharing personal stories of mine or people that I know. I'm focusing on like brands that have a positive message, and just interviewing people who have like-minded ideas. And I just, for me, I really wanted to focus on good content. I feel like there's
Yeah.
so much content out there that kind of pollutes our minds. My main focus was, let me put some good content out there and show a little bit of my work. Like, this is basically my resume, my online resume. So, people can see, like, I can do interviews. I mean, I did the whole website by myself anyway.
That
So,
part, that part.
okay. So, that in itself, I was proud of. Honestly, everything else, I was just like, the numbers or people viewing it or whatever, that's going to be an added, blessing. But my main goal was to learn how to put a website together. And like now, we can
Yes.
do it for you. Like, I can do it for my friends that want to brand themselves. I think it's so important that as people who have talent like us, we display our work, because we are kind of limited when it comes to radio, right? Like, we're used to like using our voice, but we're so multidimensional that not just anybody can do an interview, not just anybody can write
Yep.
a good story or a good interview as well. So yeah, this is just me really challenging myself and putting myself out there, which is like really scary, but I figured, what can it hurt for me to like just put
What you got to lose?
some good energy out there. So whoever,
Yeah.
receives it. And yeah, I'm just proud of myself, to be honest. Like, I'm gonna be like Snoop. Like, I wanna thank me.
I want they
I wanna
me.
thank me for putting in all that work. Okay. But
Yes,
yeah, I appreciate you just always supporting me.
of
And
course.
if you want to check it out, just go to sheislina.com, or if you follow me on Instagram, at sheislina Rodriguez.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of which, we got to show love to our good friends. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to listen, but it's called Me versus Her podcast, and it's basically a husband and a wife. This is my ride or die, my road dog. I've been
Mhm.
meaning to shout him out since like our third episode. I swear. But he knows it's all love. I love him. He lives in Buffalo Egypt. I won't get too much into detail as to who he is because that's actually a secret, but that's what makes the podcast fun. So,
Mhm.
I think people feel like once you get married, life gets boring or just like stale and no one can relate. But I
Mhm.
promise you, if you listen to my friends' podcast, like they literally talk about real life shit that happens. They've talked about neighbors, they've talked about their kids, what it's like being married, what it's like working with your husband and your wife. Like it's super
Mhm.
cute. And if you like that type of conversations, if you like our type of conversations, which is very real shit that just happens, sometimes we're not proud of it. That's the conversation that you get with them. And my friend is hilarious. I promise you. I mean, there's a reason why he found his wife. They fell in love like this. They got married like this, and they had babies like this because they're truly meant to be. And I really love that podcast. So when you get a chance, we're going to post the links down below. Make sure you guys check it out. And is there anything else you needed to add?
I just wanted to thank him because he actually shouted me out, and I appreciate that. I've known our homie since like Twitter days.
Yeah,
So
don't say his name. So
yeah,
we
I
ain't
know.
saying his name on purpose, just so y'all know. We ain't saying
I
his
know.
name on purpose.
Because I was like, the homie. So
The
the homie,
homie, yes.
we've known the homie for many years. And yeah, I like to see him get married and have children, and, to
Crazy.
continue to use his talent, because he's always been a talented guy. So
Yeah.
it's really dope to, see him do his thing. And I appreciate the love and the shout out.
He
So,
shouted us out like literally a long ass time ago. So
ah,
it wasn't like he knows it's all love. Like he knows it's all
always.
love. So when you guys get a chance, the Me versus Her podcast, make sure you guys download that, stream that, check it out because I'm telling you it's good conversation. And you can go catch up with the older episodes too that he's dropped.
Yep.
So, with that being said, we are out of here. Cheers to Angie and her new adventures in every aspect. I can't wait
Every
for her to
way.
get some D. Woo!
Hey.